And look at that, we're live again, everyone. Hi, I'm Clockwork Giant Hybrid. Welcome to today's very special second live stream of the day, where we're gonna talk about Vulpine, a game that's finally a Kickstarter success, and we're gonna talk about, of course, with its developers, Clockwork Giant Games. Hello.
Hi, I am Josiah from Clockwork Giant Games, the artist.
Okay, where's Isaac? Where's Isaac?
Isaac is asleep.
Oh my, okay, okay, so we're talking with half of Clockwork Giant Games, because, okay, it's fine, they're in another time zone. Basically, over here, it's time to sleep, and where they are, it's time to wake up and count dollar bills. And I say count dollar bills because their Kickstarter is successful, but it's still going on, so just see the link in the description below if you want to support it. Well, Josiah, you have what, 5 hours left of the Kickstarter? Sell your game to the audience. What's it about?
Dang. So, Vulpine is an action exploration game where you play as animals with weapons. That's like the gist of it. Basically,
maybe you want to go.
You explore, you find secrets, you fight giant monsters as animals, but you have weapons instead of using your claws or teeth. That's the main gist of the game.
So what do you have against animals using those claws and teeth? Like, don't you think those are like nature's weapons? Do you think those are not evolved enough? They need human weapons?
I don't see how they're supposed to protect themselves without an arm.
That's true. Usually they run away, right? If they can't handle something.
They need to have a weapon for self-defense.
Yeah, you know what? I know the Second Amendment says, to talk about people, but maybe that should be expanded because, the right to bear arms, even if you don't have actual hands, maybe it should be extended to be to animals too.
Arms. BEAR.
Exactly.
Done.
Exactly. So now, for people watching, probably heard of Vulpine before, because back in 2016, back when the last Bush was president, that's a joke from the new guy. Really long time ago, 15 months ago actually. It was on Kickstarter before, but that wasn't successful. So let's talk about let's say maybe the low point, and then go like just fly off from there and talk about the amazingness that is Vulpine now as a Kickstarter successful game. What happened back then?
Man, having a Kickstarter fail sucks. It feels really bad, as it turns out. But you
were not that far though from your goal, so it wasn't like a
a ton of people. Like, there were still a ton of passionate people, and we love every single one of them. And that's the only reason we're still going right now, is because of the community. So it was.
Can we say how were the last 15 months? Like how? Because actually no. Let's go like after the Kickstarter. Wasn't successful, right? I don't want to say failed, but I just said it. Sorry. It's just. What did you do for for motivation to keep yourself going? Was the support from the people that you got during the campaign?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like we're, as you know, we're active on Twitter, so we have a lot of community interaction there. People seem to really like our updates. That's what keeps us going. Plus, we just really want to make this just weird game.
It's not that weird. So right after that campaign, like, what did you set out to do? What was the game plan for the campaign that you ran this year?
The first thing we did was just get right back to work. Honestly, I don't think we know anything else at this point, but just get back to work on the game. We adjusted scope, of course, because you might notice we have a lower goal this time. That's because we're further in development, and we've narrowed the scope to be more focused this time.
Did you cut anything? Like, were there some hard cuts to the original design document?
We had to get rid of the building system because that would have taken long time. As cool as it is, I think it could be added as post content, if anything, or post release content.
So you're still keeping that on the back burner, but not for Vulpine as it is now presented to everyone.
Vulpine as it is now is more about exploring and finding things rather than settling down.
That sounds very like someone talking to the psychologist, like, okay, so you don't want to settle down, but that's fine, it's okay, you're young, it's fine, you don't have to settle down now, come on, it's fine. So that's fine. So tell me, what did you do in the last film? Like, what were the major things that moved forward with the game?
Oh man, there's so much stuff from the last 15
on your
months
part?
I don't remember.
Okay, the worlds, the biomes. Tell me a little bit about what happened there.
A fully generated world now. Isaac was like, I just want to make it generated, and I was like, you won't stop talking about this, so please just try it. And then he tried it, and as it turns out, it was easier than we thought. So we
really
have generated worlds now, and they look good in low poly, and I don't know why. Like,
you don't know why they look good? You're the artist. It's like it's your job to make them look
on my land here. Like,
oh, okay.
Oh, Isaac made something that looks good and is the majority of the thing on the screen. I'm like that. No, this is my art direction.
Yeah. Okay. So it's procedurally generated, but do you come in certain points and adjust anything? What's the plan there for them?
He built a system where I can edit the terrain manually, like you would a clay sculpture almost, and we can take chunks of a thing that I've built myself, save that out, and when you're generating, it'll put that in the world in a way that makes sense. So like, instead of generating every point of interest, because that gets real samey real quick, I actually hand make most of the cool things in the world.
And those are used by the random generator and placed.
Yes.
It's like you make the big block that's that's the relevant, and and then you build a cog, and that's being put in the machine.
Yeah, Isaac made some math magic to do some stuff that I don't understand in the least, but it's working.
So was that throughout developing from start to now, was that your intentions, like we're gonna have procedural generation because it allows for more variety, or like it makes things easier? Like what was the idea there, going for this specific
for the original Kickstarter release, we were going to do, I would just hand make the entire island, and that would be the island of Vulpine. But the main reason we didn't want to do generators, we weren't sure if we could make it in a low poly style, which is kind of important for the game's art direction. But Isaac managed to find a way to make that work. So we've kind of shifted design around to be this generated world, so that no matter what, everyone will be able to have similar experiences, even though it's not the same world. I think in our minds we really wanted to do generated worlds, but we just didn't know if we were capable of it.
And then to the magic of math, right, and coding. Well, that's good. So, but yeah,
I'm sure Isaac would be real happy that I'm just calling it math magic.
Well, okay, we can call it math.
Months of work on that. Yeah, just math magic.
Well, you still have to know the words and stuff If whatever, then come on, how hard is it? I'm kidding. Of course, it's difficult to make anything procedurally generated, like to make a freaking room with 5 things in there. But a whole world, that's impressive, especially since you have multiple points of interest, as you said. So this idea of, now that you have procedurally generated worlds, does this have a major impact on, let's say, that the background of the game? Does this negate like a story element for Vulpine?
Oh no, not really. We can still. There's still a through line for Vulpine. There's still a thing to carry you along to the next point. But there are also just a bunch of things outside of that now that you can find on your own.
And whenever you make a new world and you start a new game, let's say, would it be like, you get a seed number and maybe you could share that with other people? Would that be, something that, you could do?
Oh yeah, like we just plan for it to be configurable, because like not everyone's going to have 32 players. So maybe you want a smaller world because you have like you and your buds just playing the game. So yeah, seeds and all that. We plan for options for that. We're trying to make it as easy as possible. Like
it's to configure and to play. That's right, because it's so. What about? Okay, well, we're gonna talk about the single player and multiplayer. But since we're on the topic, so whenever you play, right? Let's say you take a single player game. Will you make, let's say, a local server or something like that, or would be like what? How is that going to work?
Oh yeah, single player will just be running a local server basically.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to invite any other people, will you have to, like, would you be able to make a server where you play on your own and then maybe invite people later?
We're not entirely sure on that yet because we haven't really dug into Steamworks, but we're hoping for that.
Mm-hmm. Because I think, it would be really cool to have, to learn the game a little bit, right? Like on your own, and then maybe, hey, come on. Come help me with this huge spider mechanical thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's because for people who don't know, that was a big thing for Vulpine since its inception, I guess. Well, since I heard of it, the idea that you are going to have you will be able to play with other people, a lot of other people, and have packs and such. So that's a big thing, to have the single player element, but the multiplayer element too, because it's cool to have packs of animals attacking each other. Peter approves. So yeah, it's what? It's fine. It's okay. They're not listening. They're too busy with rescuing stuff, I'm sure. So go ahead.
No, that's it. I just wanted to laugh.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So let's talk about a little bit about the animals. So Vulpine, obviously, it's in the name. We're gonna have a fox. Can you tell me what animals are planned and confirmed at this point, and maybe a little bit of the differences between them, the classes and
All right, let's test my knowledge of my own game. Okay, we got 3 types of animal groups. Basically, the 3 different types of players. You have small animals, medium animals, and large animals. Small animals are faster and more nimble, but they don't have as much health or damage capability. Medium's a well-rounded type, and large animals are slower, harder hit, but harder hitters.
Mm-hmm.
The animals we have planned right now.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
For small animals, we have rabbit, and thanks to the community, the red panda.
Oh yes.
To everybody.
They're adorable. You had to have the red panda.
Mm-hmm.
They are adorable.
You can check that out in our Kickstarter updates. We've posted what that looks like already. For medium animals, we have the red fox, fennec fox, and wolf. And thanks to our community again for just absolutely blowing us away on the first day by having a ton of pledges. Thank you again. The capybara, which was definitely not a poll that we ran on our Twitter randomly with no context.
Okay, so the capybara. Okay, I mean, to be fair, right? This is the equivalent of you doing like fake news or something like that, because like no, it's not fake news. So it's like it's clickbait. Because capybaras, for anyone who's seen capybaras like sitting and like munching and stuff, like you would want one for a pet. So basically you're using the cuteness of the animal to make sure that you get as much money as possible on the first day, and it worked. That's a good thing, because capybaras are, seriously, it's like when you see one, you will want to have one in your house, with dogs preferably.
Context for anyone. We were down to 4 animals for our first community goal, and we couldn't figure out which one we wanted, so we just ran a poll on our Twitter that says, very important poll, and had the 4 animals listed, and capybara won. So that's what we went with, is just the popular one.
Yeah, it's, I mean, so the capybara would be in the medium, right? That's the class.
Because those animals are huge.
Well, they're pretty. Yeah. For I guess they're rodents, right? I think they're rodents.
Yeah,
they might be some of the biggest rodents. Yeah. That's. I mean, I don't know. They're adorable. They're absolutely adorable, and it's like when you see them going in the water, it's like heaven on earth. It's like, what do you want more from that? Like, seriously. Universal healthcare. Look at the freaking capybara. I'm kidding. So and the large animals. What do you have there?
Large animals. We have the bear. And the rhinoceros. Rhino. I said rhinoceros.
And
weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. They don't care. They're not that smart. The rhinos, I mean.
The rhinos.
So, you said 2 only, okay, on the large. So, anything that you can tease or reveal now?
We don't have any major plans.
Dinosaurs.
Animals. Oh, wow, you're getting right into it, huh?
I'm kidding. You have to have. Well, you don't have to have dinosaurs. I'm just, spitballing right there. Just throwing ideas out there.
Dinosaurs have definitely been discussed. I won't pretend like they haven't been discussed, but we're not sure if we want them in or not. I think there are a lot of animals that we could choose from, but maybe a velociraptor would be real dumb.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't be them, but I think, dinosaurs are incredible, definitely, and they draw a crowd, but I mean, the type of game that you have and the setting and all the other animals kind of negate, the existence of the dinosaurs. Like, all of these animals are in the world right now, right? And dinosaurs are like, no, they've been gone for a long time. So, yeah, I would agree that they don't have a place in Vulpine. Vulpine 2? That's another thing.
Oh yeah, that is another thing. I forget about that all the time. I don't remember.
What? 2021. 2021. I mean, come on, Jesus! Like, next Kickstarter. What are you doing? Come on! Like,
oh, please don't say the words next Kickstarter. I'll have an anxiety.
Oh, come on. Let's talk. Let's go actually into the characters. So you have multiple types of animals per each class, and you said that some are have lower health, some have more health, some have more do more damage. Will there be variations between animals in the same category? So, for example, will the red fox have different stats than the fennec fox, and like something like that?
Yeah, the differences will be really slight differences. We can't make and balance 10 different animals. So the differences won't be as large as a small animal to a medium animal as it would be to just like the fox to the red fox. What the fennec fox to the red fox.
Okay, so more subtle differences between them.
Yeah, minimal changes. For the most part, your actual the way you actually play the game is dependent on the size.
Okay, so that's gonna be the biggest difference in terms of how you experience the game is the size of the animal that you choose.
Yeah, the size of the animal and the weapon that you choose, because we have 3 weapon types. You like that segue?
Yeah, that's great because I was going to ask about the weapons anyway. Go ahead.
We have swords, which are the fast, nimble one, get in, get out. We have spears, which are the longer range but kind of slow. And then we have hammers, which are the heavy-hitting, slow weapons. Which we're...
So are those... Yeah? Go ahead, sorry.
We're working on getting all of those nice and... the word escaped my mind the second I started talking.
Designed? Nice and designed and ready and balanced?
Yeah, nice and good to go.
And usable?
Yes, that's the words.
Those are the words. So, so 3 types of weapons, right? Which different characters is, right? Will those weapons be tied to a specific size of animal, or you can use, for example, a hammer with a rabbit, or like a spear with, I don't know, a bear?
Oh yeah, all animals can use all weapons. That's an important part of our design. We're trying to make sure people understand that, because as it turns out, maybe even major gaming publications don't understand that. We're trying.
Okay, let's go into that some more.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, you can shit on anyone. I mean, that's like if it's valid, just say it. It's fine. It's gonna be like PC Gamer wrote this crap article about. It's just you don't even read them. Just go to youtube.com/Cryptic Hybrid for your
article about us.
Really? Okay, that's good.
That PC Gamer article so much.
Wait, you're kidding, right?
It's really good. No, I'm not kidding at all. They actually
oh, sorry. You're...
fantastic.
Oh, okay, that's good.
On us. I forget the name of that person. I think it might have been Andrew, but I could be very wrong. It's been a month. But no, that PC Gamer article was one well written and just glowing praise, which is great. But it actually helped us a lot.
So who wrote the crap one? Kotaku or Polygon, right? One of those two.
I don't remember.
Yeah, right. Okay. Okay, it's okay. You don't have to sever ties with the big guys in the industry. It's fine. Okay. So, but that's very important. To make this distinction. So, the weapons, right? They're a big part. So, what about the customization of the weapons? And tell me how they affect gameplay overall. Like, why are they very important?
Oh yeah, your base weapon can be upgraded using materials that you gain from monsters. By the way, there are monsters in the game. You upgrade them, and you upgrade their element, which allows you to eventually get a completely different looking sword or a completely different looking spear that has some sort of elemental damage on it. And certain monsters are weak to certain elements or strong to certain elements.
Okay, so that's something to balance out. Can you carry more than one weapon with you? Like can you swap?
I don't think we'll allow swapping mid-battle, but just like out of battle.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay, that's interesting. So, the characters would be... can you upgrade them in any way? Or will, let's say, the capabilities of your character will be, enhanced with the upgrades that you do to the weapon?
The weapon is the main upgrade system in Vulpine. But we will have accessories to up other stats on your character.
Accessories. I'm already thinking like a bracelet on a bear. That looks odd.
That would look great.
That looks very odd.
That would be great.
Any because you say resources. Are there going to be any other types of crafting, or it's only resources for upgrading your weapon? Is that the only path?
Yeah, the main path is upgrading your weapon. Not so much crafting in the game.
Anything that boosts your character's stats? Would there be anything like that?
Yes, we'll have consumable items.
Okay, and then I'm guessing those you can buy from the freaking cat, right? the cat that just appeared, the shopkeep cat.
Oh, it's so good. I'm still happy with that cat.
So, because that wasn't in the original pitch, I don't remember like seeing a cat in there. That's one of the reasons why I liked Vulpine, because there were no cats in it. But anyway, so what's the cat doing? Like, what things can you buy from the shop in Vulpine?
That's mostly a secret.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, what's not a secret then? Because you said mostly, so that's it's not 100%.
Just normal stuff.
No.
Like base weapons.
Health potions. Oh, base weapons. Okay. Okay. And will you be able to find weapons that have already been upgraded or enhanced in any way in the game world, or will you be tied to getting a base weapon and then upgrading that as you progress and get resources for it?
Yeah, the main gameplay loop will be around upgrading your weapon. So we don't necessarily want to have anyone just find a weapon and be overpowered or anything like that. So
okay,
probably not, but maybe.
Okay, so that's more than like 51%, 70%. Okay, all right. So it's more about you building your main weapon. Or main weapons, right? If you can swap, then you could have, two different weapons for. Yeah, right. Actually, that would be cool, to have the same, like the same basic sword and upgrade it with, different elements and have, swap between them, knowing, what you're gonna encounter. That would be cool. So, speaking of encounters, what are you going to encounter?
Oh boy.
In the game. Let's talk about enemies. Come on.
My favorite thing to do is to animate these freaking monsters. We have. Right now,
they're lovely.
We have 6 monsters in the game, and we're working towards more. You fight giant monsters in this game. For example, our Pangloin, which is a glowing pangolin. You like it? It's a good pun.
I love it. Everyone's gonna call it a pangolin, right? Not pangloin.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just saying. Because like the design is amazing. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Because I didn't read it like properly the first time. I was like, oh, it's a pangolin, awesome. And like panglo. Wait, what? Oh, panglo. Oh, because it glows. Got it. Okay, so it was like the second time. But truthfully, well, no, it's not about bun. It just didn't connect at the first in the first instance when I read the name. But it's by far the best looking boss, I think. It's like obviously pangolins are awesome. That's one of the things. I really like them, so that's one thing. But the color and the effects of it, I think it's the best boss so far. I think in terms of looks.
We have put a lot of time into making that lightning look as good as we possibly can make that lightning look.
Yeah, I think it looks really it looks really good. So yeah.
No, go ahead.
Tell me about the bosses. Like, what's the big deal about them?
It's the main thing to do in Vulpine. We want boss fights to be a much longer fight, like an endurance type fight than in normal games. Compare it to like a Dark Souls boss, where you're trying to whittle it down, but it can easily whittle you down. And it's very animation dependent and dodge heavy.
So will that be like a very frequent thing? The boss fights? Are you will you encounter a lot of bosses and fairly frequent throughout the game?
That's the plan, yeah. Is to be able to encounter bosses either by seeking them out directly, or just they pop out of nowhere and come up on you.
Are bosses tied in any way to the biomes? Like, would you find certain bosses only in specific biomes?
Yeah, so for the Pangloan, you would only find them in the Biolume, which is our glowing mushroom area. It's like a forest made of blue bioluminescent plants, and you would find the Pangloan in there.
You designed that world when right after Wisconsin got legal weed, right? Did you get legal weed?
No, not at all.
Really? Oh, that's unfortunate.
I don't think so.
That's.
Just a second, let's check that.
Talk about the game, not about the status of the people of Wisconsin. Please message us if you know that marijuana is legal in your state. Thank you.
Send a message to Cryptic Hybrid on YouTube. Let them know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. There are like 50 states, 51, whatever. It's complicated. I don't know all the stuff.
Don't worry.
I'm assuming.
Do I? And I live here. There's a lot going on, and there's a lot I don't pay attention to.
So, well, that's good because you're focused on Vulpine. That's actually a very good thing if you want to be focused because you made all these bosses. So, how many biomes are there going to be in the game?
We haven't decided on a number quite yet.
Oh, okay, but because I was thinking, if you knew the number, I was thinking, will it be exactly the number of bosses as the number of biomes, or are you thinking there'll be more bosses than biomes?
Oh, there'll be some monsters that can cross over biomes.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have more bosses than biomes, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Right now,
so what other
5 biomes?
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see here. We
have. Yeah. So tell me. Go ahead.
We have meadows. We have forests, mountains, the biolume, and the savanna right now.
And what's the difference? I mean, is there any difference when it comes to, well, the bosses to some extent, right? But will your animal be affected in any way based on the, if it's too cold or something? Will I don't know, a rabbit be, I don't know, impacted in any way?
Not this time around. The design for Vulpine used to be much different, where it was like a survival game in early conceptions. But no, there won't be any plans for weather effects on your character. The main difference is the terrain will be harder in certain places. Like a forest is harder to navigate when you're fighting a monster than an open field.
Yeah. And you could use the forest maybe to your advantage, right? With certain bosses.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Because I'm guessing that's... Maybe, of course. It's like, here, boss, come to this tree, and then you go behind the tree. I mean, you're supposed to use everything at your disposal, so I guess, because the bosses look pretty damn, tough. Especially the Pangloan and the spider, so... They're like, yeah, this is gonna take a while to fight. Well, that's good. So, when you defeat a boss, what are you going to get from them? What will they drop?
Oh, they drop materials to use for upgrades.
So those are the materials you're gonna use for the swords, for the weapon. Sorry, not the sword, for the weapon. Okay. So and I'm guessing the element that drops is based on the boss.
Yeah. So the Pangloan will drop Pangloan scales and other materials, which you can use to upgrade your swords, your spears, your hammers with, thunder.
Mm-hmm. So if you want if you have a specific element that you want for your weapon, you would have to go seek out the bosses that have that element.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
and that's where multiplayer comes in.
That's where the multiplayer comes
Mm-hmm.
in.
Yeah.
Hunting in packs
So-
with your friends.
So what other enemies? Because we've seen bosses. What other like smaller, lighter enemies would you have in the game?
Yeah, there are some small light enemies scattered across the world. We don't. They're not going to be super difficult like our normal bosses, of course. But they're around. They're a threat. They'll run distraction on you during a boss fight if they're near you.
Mm-hmm.
So if a tiny if a tiny creature's near you while you're fighting a main monster, it might come up and try to harass you.
Okay,
But for the
so
most
that's
part,
something to.
The main focus is on the large monsters.
Okay, so in terms of the behavior of these monsters, the bosses specifically, but you know everyone. When in multiplayer, I was just thinking this in the shower, but don't judge me, okay?
No, that's fine.
I put a lot of thought into this. Yeah, exactly. So if you roam with your pack in multiplayer, there are multiple types of animals, different sizes, different weapons, different everything. How will the enemies react to the pack? Will they target a specific animal that's maybe tougher or has a better weapon, or how are you planning to have that attack behavior of the bosses?
So in our AI tree, we have multitudes of meters that determine where the monster wants to go and who the monster wants to attack. So someone who might be doing a bunch of damage might be targeted for the next attack, and at some point, if it notices it hasn't attacked and hasn't targeted a certain player in a while, it'll try to target that player. So it's this series of meters that determines which person it wants to attack and where it wants to go.
Okay, so that means you're not going to be safe, like just going up to the boss, attacking, and then running back. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that. Well, okay, that sounded a little bit threatening. It's like no one is safe. Like that's good. Why don't you say it like that? Like Vulpine, no one is safe. Just back us.
That's the new tagline. Get rid of via Fox the sword.
Just no one is safe. In the forest. Oh, speaking of the forest, so in the original Kickstarter, you mentioned it was a big thing. At least there, it was it had its own section. The den is the den. The kind of the player housing. Is that still there? Are you still gonna implement that?
The
or something
player
similar?
housing is one of the things we had to remove for our more focused scope, because making the art assets and the systems for that would take away from making the monsters feel as good as they do.
So where are you going to sleep? Basically.
We plan for a small starting village.
Small starting village. Will you be able? Yeah.
That's where it's a small little hub area, and that's where you'll go in between excursions. Yeah, in between going out into the world.
Raids, hunting. Well, I mean, why not? I mean, you could hunt, I guess. So will that starting area? Will you be able to choose the starting area, especially in multiplayer, or is it going to be no, you're going to be in this safe area at the beginning, and then you can expand and go wherever you want?
We want people to be able to play with their friends as soon as possible, so it's very likely that you'll just be able to join on a friend and be where they are.
Okay.
But otherwise, it will start you in a predetermined location if you were to just load a new map.
Okay. So Works kind of chat just got here. What is this game about? Well, yes.
Oh, right.
Q.
It's an action
Are
exploration
you reading?
game. What are you talking about? This is my elevator pitch. I've practiced this. Vulpine's an action exploration game where you play as animals using weapons. The main gameplay of the game is hunting giant monsters. You can play as a ton of different animals like red foxes, fennec foxes, bears, rabbits, red pandas. And you go around the world fighting monsters.
And saving the world. I mean, no, sorry. Never mind. That's not. You're not saving the world. Are you saving the world? See, this is one of the things that you've been hiding since the beginning. The story and the world, and it's like, okay, come on. You gotta give me some lore to all of this.
Oh man, we're excited for the lore.
Okay, so it will have some lore elements. Okay, that's still a confirmation. There will be lore elements that you'll be able to find, and find out more about maybe the history of the island, of the region, of the bosses. Even
I'm an experienced writer, so we're not going to make a very in-depth story because that's not our strength, and we like to stick to our strengths. So there will be bits of lore scattered around for people to find.
So that means
we won't be writing anything sprawling. Every game has achievements.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that. Your mic is spiking. Please turn it down. Okay, sorry.
I don't know if that's me
Jesus. Or you. No, that's me. Sorry, it's me. It's me. I'm talking too close to the microphone. That's my fault. Sorry, workout. You're right. Thanks for telling me.
So into the interview that you're just like you're right up on the mic.
Actually, that is true. Yeah, that's actually like what happens. Yes, like lean in and yes, that's actually what happens. Yeah. So we talk. Is there going to be any, let's say, end game content, right? When you have upgraded everything, you've defeated all the bosses. What challenges will Vulpine present to a single player or a pack of people?
So like for end game content, we don't have a concrete designed plan quite yet. We have a few ideas that we want to test out, probably during our closed beta for end game goals. We've got some ideas that we think might work out really well and are kind of unique, but we're not ready to talk about that quite yet.
Okay, so that's a to be determined. So Warscar asks, when does it come out? Vulpine, what's the plan there? What's the new target?
Well, I see they also asked, is it out? Vulpine.
No, it's not out. It's on Kickstarter
right now. With 5 hours to go, we have already hit our goal. We are getting closer to our next stretch goal. We've already reached one of them. Vulpine is planned to release in early access on Steam in December 2018.
So very close. Well, somewhat close. Oh, because this is so it's early access. So that's definitely like in plan.
Yeah.
So when are you thinking the full Vulpine will be finished? Do you have a goal for that? Like how long it will be in early access?
For the full release of Vulpine to be in April of 2019.
Oh, okay. So not a long. That's quite a short, actually, early access period compared to most games, I guess, that come out in early access.
Yeah, I mean, we've put 2 years of development already into the game.
True.
We're pumping out content. That's our main goal, is to get content in there now, rather than building systems.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when it comes out in early access, it's gonna be like 90% finished, and it's just fixing the hair on the foxes and stuff.
The game is made by 2 people. Me, Josiah Gooden. I am the artist for the team, and Isaac Gooden is the programmer for the team.
Okay, lead artist and Chief Technology Officer. Come on, like, come on,
is that what we actually put?
No, that's what you should like sell yourself as. Come on, it's like
I do art. He does programming. We're good at what we do. We don't really cross over into doing programming or art.
Seriously, have you not learned anything from Trump? Just say this: I'm the best at art. I know the best art. I make the best art. This game has the best art. Believe me, I know art. This is the best art. Yeah, it's like that.
The game looks pretty good.
Well, it doesn't have hair works, so that's one issue, I think. They're animals, and there's no hair works.
We did actually put a hair shader on the fox at one point. It looks
really
not good. It looks really bad.
Yeah. Well. Oh, by the way, since we talk about technical stuff, so it's Unity. You're still going with Unity. Any big things that happened in the last 15 months with Unity that helped you with the development?
Say that one more time.
So you're still going with Unity, right? You're still using Unity to build a game, right?
Okay, we're using Unity, yes.
Okay, so since the last time on Kickstarter, have any updates to Unity helped you, with making, maybe a different shader or I don't know, something that Unity came up with?
I mean, Unity is a fantastic engine that's constantly being updated. But like, we were able to promise a Linux version this time because Unity released some very cool things that allow us to not have a DirectX dependent game, or rather, that's not true. Back that up. Anyway, there was
wake us up.
There was an asset we were using that would not work with Linux, just making it completely incompatible. But Unity released something that makes that no longer the case. So now we can promise a Linux version. They also released a system for cutscenes called Cinemachine, which allowed us to program in cutscenes a lot easier if we wanted to do them. And we have a couple cutscenes, but not very many. So like when you walk up to the cat, Cinemachine will take over and zoom in on the cat.
Okay.
Like it makes that a lot easier to do. That takes a couple of hours instead of a long time.
Okay, and worst case asks, and we'll definitely get to your question. How did you get the idea for the game?
We, in I think 2012, made a game jam game called Vulpine 101, where you play as a diamond that looks like a fox, and you hunted other creatures for food, and that was the whole thing. And we were like, what if we made something based off of that but more? And
what if this is a diamond giraffe?
Yeah, at some point we decided that animals should have weapons, and then we just kept going from there.
Okay, so it's not like you getting lost in the woods and a fox came to you and helped you find your way back home, and the fox had a no.
No, but we have plenty of foxes around here. They yell sometimes, and it's
really
funny. Yeah.
Okay.
Foxes don't make the noise you expect them to make.
Maybe they're crying for weapons. Maybe they're like, give us weapons. I don't know.
It kind of sounds like a scream. It's not very comforting.
Huh? And did you use those sounds in the game? Did you record them and like, oh yeah, well, this is definitely going?
In our original game jam game, we used actual fox yells, and we decided that was not good sounding because it's frightening.
Really? Okay. That's worst class. Are the animals strictly land, or is there air and water animals too?
Yeah, the animals are only on land. Since we're only 2 people, we are trying to avoid over scoping, so animals are stuck to the land. We don't have any birds or any sort of amphibious creatures.
Vulpine 2, whales and sharks. That's. But for now, yeah. For now, you have six plus, right?
Yeah, let's see.
Animals.
We have 8 animals now.
Yeah, with the capybara and the panda.
Community, by the way. Thank
you say
everybody.
that a lot. Like, are they really wonderful?
It is the thing that keeps me going. Is these people.
Okay, can you name them? Like, okay, it's like these people. I say that when you said these people, I think it's like you were looking at the list with people. It's like, oh, you're sorry. Yeah.
Like we try to make a point to respond to every single person we can respond to.
Mm-hmm.
It's the outpouring of support is very nice.
So, tell me a bit more about that. So, all this, I could support and feedback, right? Like, what has this brought to the game in terms of, content or changes to your original idea?
Well, when someone has like feedback on animations and such, I will usually go in and tweak it or take what they said into consideration. If people like a certain design, I will keep it. If people don't like a certain design, I might try to tweak it. But otherwise, Vulpine has been planned out pretty thoroughly by us, and we haven't strayed too much from it.
But in terms of the period from when the Kickstarter ends to when you go into early access, like what type of feedback would you be looking for from the people who backed Vulpine?
On everything. If people have an issue with the combat, if people have an issue with basically anything, we want to know so that we can get it fixed. If people like a certain thing, we might try to focus on that even more. It's just really dependent on what type of feedback we get.
Okay, so what's the blob about? Like that because the blob guy, the slime. Sorry, slime. To me, they're all blobs. Yeah, well, what's the deal with that guy? He looks so unnatural. Let's say. What's with the slime?
It's weird.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because I haven't seen him before. This is definitely new with the cat. At least the cat has its place. But this guy is a little bit like, do I have to get that guy who says like aliens all the time?
Yeah, what's up with that slime? Who knows?
Okay, all right. You don't want to say anything. Fine. Okay, so we have to wait until December. Fine. Okay, fair enough. So for people who are watching and want to be involved, right, in Vulpine, there are multiple tiers, right, where you can design you can design a boss. I know, right? You can name a monument. So what other things can people contribute with to Vulpine?
Can you say that again? You cut out.
Oh, sorry. So in terms of the pledges and what they offer, right? What can people offer as input? Like, for example, the naming a monument. What other stuff do you have like that?
Oh, like direct input for content in the game?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we do have the higher tiers, which are like help us design a boss or suggest an animal. But otherwise, there's not a ton that the pledges add into the game.
The animal is the animal is a big one, right? Because it's a playable character.
The big one. And so is the boss. The boss is actually, to me, bigger because that's like the main focus of the game. But the animal is huge because like people are constantly suggesting new animals, and I'd love to add as many animals as possible, but it's just actually a long process to add a single animal. So being able to add in your favorite animal that's a big thing.
So basically, you're not going to have an echidna. All right, your loss.
Oh,
but
wow.
what? What? Like the weirdest, right? Well, come on, that would be it doesn't have a place in Vulpine, I think, because it's an echidna. It's not exactly a menacing creature at all. So, but it's a cool one. But yeah, echidna. Yeah. Who for people who don't know what an echidna is, just look it up. It's very unique. Let's say that. So Warscott asks, is land procedurally generated or is it pre-made by hand? We answered that, but if you can go really quick.
The land is procedurally generated, with some segments being handmade, but the majority of it and the layout of it is made procedurally.
So how big is the island? Do you have it like any size estimates?
We don't have any size estimates yet, because one of our biggest issues with open world games is that there's a whole lot of nothing in between the things that matter. So as we put more content in, we'll be adjusting the size of the world until it feels right. But of course, people will be able to configure the actual size of the island.
Okay, because I'm thinking like for 32 players, it has to be pretty huge, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, I'm just thinking at the technical side, it could be, a big thing to, load it all, and we'll see. Well, we'll see how the magic works, like how the programming magic works. So, tell me about the multiplayer and how are packs going to work, right? Like, would you be able to battle between packs? Will you have different, let's say, bases of operation? How is that going to be? How is the PvP element?
So we're trying to keep Vulpine strictly cooperative, mostly so that everyone has a good experience. We're trying to stray away from PvP for right now, partially for development resources, and for the most part, the game is strictly cooperative. You'll be able to team up with people in a pack, which is basically just a party. So you'll have everyone in a server, and then you'll have packs of people that split off and do their own things. And you can go out hunting with your pack.
Is there going to be a limit to how big a pack can be?
Yes, we don't know the limit yet, though. We're gonna be testing that.
Right, tweaking. Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. So will there be any? So since you said it's more, you're gonna focus on the co-op and not, someone going rogue and will there be any friendly fire?
Friendly fire? No, not really. There might be, if you hit someone, they might get staggered a little bit, but otherwise, no.
Okay, so everyone is safe. Vulpine is not going to be a game with a toxic community like, I don't know, Overwatch, Dota, and all the games that, obviously they're... Because that's all I hear about, toxic community. So Vulpine is free of toxic community. Actually, what would happen? Like, if someone attacks, like, what could be the... Well, you wouldn't let anyone, right? Like, run amok on a server. Yeah, because he couldn't... Yeah, okay, fair enough. So are there going to be any pack-specific tools? Like anything that allows, people in a pack to maybe communicate easier or trade or like exchange weapons, something like that?
For the most part, we won't have trading, because if you could just trade the materials for the upgrades, anyone could just immediately become strong. So for the most part, you'll have to get your items, but things that don't matter, like consumables, you'll be able to just drop.
Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. You can share a little bit. Okay, so and how will the scaling work? Like, what's the plan there? From one single player to 32. What's the range there? What are you going to do? Like, put more bosses, make them stronger? Both, maybe? Put more enemies?
Yeah, health and damage and aggressiveness will change depending on how many people are actively engaging with a monster.
Okay, so it scales based on. But what? Let's say a party, right? Just I know it's a very specific scenario, but technically it could happen, right? There's a party, a pack, and they attack a boss, and maybe another pack comes in. Will the boss have any change in terms of its stats, its damage? If they come after the fight has started.
If another party comes and attacks the monster, it will scale to that. It'll scale to any amount of players actively engaged with a monster.
Oh, okay.
So if
fair enough. So
it won't really do anything.
It was just like, I'm fighting you. What do you want? Nothing. I'm fine. Bye. Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, that sounds fair. Okay, I don't know what the fudge that creature is. So are there any? Well, I don't know how to say, like, remnants. Will there be any remnants of humans in this world?
Oh, yeah, you'll be able to find some bits and pieces around.
Because some things look very like human made. That's what I'm thinking. Is like, has this world ever had any humans in it? Maybe there's just slight amounts that we've put in there to give some hints. So you cannot confirm nor deny an unlockable human character.
The existence of humans.
Of a low poly. Okay. That's no low poly human to unlock and to battle. Okay. All right, fair enough. So tell me about since we talk about the low poly. Any in the last 15 months, right? So since the last Kickstarter, were there any changes brought to the visual style or anything on the graphic side?
Yeah, actually, we're using a different solution for our shadows and our just lighting in general. It's working out pretty well. But I am going through right now and I'm changing how some of the animals look, because at this point it's 2-year-old art for the fox. So I'm trying to make the fox look more updated with my current skill set. So I've actually posted a tweet fairly recently with the updated fox model. It's not in the trailer for the game because I haven't put it in the game yet. But I'm slowly going
a few updates.
Updating. Yeah.
So what's the latest animal that you've designed? Is it like the red panda or the capybara?
The animal I have designed is the red fox. Red panda. My bad.
Red panda. Okay.
Fox on the mind.
Well, it is Vulpine. I mean, you've since that day in 2012, 15. Anyway, you've been only like foxes. You probably have fox posters everywhere. So
no, I try to keep that out of my life.
It's like I just take pictures of them and put them on.
The most recent animal is the red panda, which you can see on our Kickstarter page in our update number 8 called 1 Week Plus Red Panda.
Oh yeah, the red panda looks lovely. Where's the red panda? Let me find it. It was here. The red panda. It's adorable. The red pandas are adorable. If people don't know, the red panda, search Firefox, and that's how they're also known. And they're absolutely adorable. They're like, you want to cuddle them all the time, but no, in Vulpine, you'll fight them because someone thought that was a great idea of giving
it is a great idea.
Deadly weapons. Okay, you know what? Okay, you have a success of his Kickstarter, so I'm gonna say, okay, you found the market there. Okay, just cute animal and deadly weapon. Okay, you wouldn't think it works, but okay, I'm kidding. Obviously, it's adorable, and that's actually one of the first things that you see with Vulpine, right? It's low poly, right? So it's not serious in the sense that it's too detailed to be realistic. So it's a little bit playful in that regard, and then you see, oh, it's a cute animal, it's a nice animal, it's like it roams and stuff, and then you have a weapon and it attacks, and it's this contrast which I think works really well, and I think it's the low poly graphics work better for this idea, because it's such an absurd, exciting but absurd thing to have animals with human weapons, right? Using human weapons. Yeah. That if you made the animals too realistic, I don't think it would have the same effect. At least not for me.
This game could not exist if it looked real. It just would not. I think it would sit with people a lot worse than it does. The low poly style is 100% intentional because we're going for absurd, and we want it to be playful and happy, and not like gritty and realistic.
Just have some fun, just destroy some bosses. There's no gore from what I've seen, right? Is there going to be any blood or anything like that? Okay, so what's going to happen to your animal if it gets its furry ass kicked? Like, can your animal die, or?
We'll probably not refer to it as death since you can respawn. It'll probably be like incapacitated. And then you'll just be able to go back to the main hub.
Oh, and when something like that happens, let's say you get defeated by a boss or an enemy, will the player drop anything?
Oh no, not at all.
So there's no
that's one of the things from from Minecraft and from those types of games that I always hated. Dropping all of the stuff you earned as a punishment, I don't think is fun. And I want my.
Well, that happens in RPGs a lot, right? Too, I guess.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you hate Diablo? Sorry, Diablo.
Actually, I love Diablo, but. It's just an infuriating thing to have progress erased rather than the punishment be the death and having to start over on the fight.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, I like it because I don't want to lose the super weapon that I worked so hard to. I mean, if it dropped there, then you have to retrieve it, but then you'd have the boss around. It'd be all sorts of other stuff. This way, right? Like you've made it, you're just gonna put your tail behind, like between your legs, and just run. So that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're not reclaiming your souls in Vulpine.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could have done. You could have went like something like this: Vulpine, Dark Souls with animals. Like I don't know, maybe it worked. I don't know.
Weirdly enough, this time around, this Kickstarter, not last Kickstarter, this time we're getting a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's like Sif from Dark Souls." And for those who don't know, Sif is a giant wolf that uses a sword in Dark Souls, which wasn't an influence at all, but is just a complete coincidence, and it's getting brought up a lot.
And do you think this comparison? I don't know. It's a good thing for Vulpine. This comparison with Dark Souls, this reference.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem with the Dark Souls series. I play all the games. I like them. I don't see any reason why it would hurt us.
Okay, so what was the feedback this time around with this new and again successful and still running campaign?
It's really weird. Everyone's really positive about the game. Even on the Reddit post that I made, everyone's really positive.
Even Reddit likes it?
Yeah,
wow.
I posted it in the games subreddit, which is usually very critical, and you know what? They're usually very good about their feedback, and they were mostly positive, which is surprising to me.
So what was the thing that stood out the most, like from people seeing and maybe pledging too? Like, what was the one thing that, or several things that were like, oh yeah, that comes up a lot when it comes to Vulpine?
Well, one, everyone says either the game is Sif Simulator or it is Okami again. Okami being Capcom's wolf game where you play as a wolf. But everyone seems to really like the Pangloin, which is good because I really like the Pangloin.
I was hoping to have a plush toy of the Pangloin, but apparently
that would be good. It's hard to make a plush.
Yeah, but it's like that would be the only, the second reason why I would back the game. Come on, I mean, Pangloin. Who doesn't want a plush Pangloin? It's adorable. Of course, you can get the. Yeah.
It's got this slight layer of fur on it, so it just gets really staticky, and it's like, it's just like a real game.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome. But of course, you have other physical rewards, like the 3D printed animals. So can you tell me a little bit about that, and how they were made, how they were designed, and were there, let's say, places in this whole project?
Oh yeah, one of our higher tiers is minifigures, which are tiny little, even more stylized versions of our animals, which we have 3D printed, and then what we do is we cast them in a silicone mold, and then we pour resin into that and make the individual figures for our backers. We also have
so you make them.
We make them.
So you make them, okay. And you painted like everything, like from start to finish, from design to. Oh, okay. So how long does that? How long? Wow. Okay. So how long does a figurine take to make?
Start to finish. Oh, I don't think I've ever thought of that. I know it takes about.
No, I mean, not the design part, right? Because that obviously took you a while. I mean, like from printing it to I don't know, letting it dry. I don't know what happens after that. And painting it. Like, what's that time period?
We're able to make the figures in mass with the resin, so it's about 5 minutes a figure for casting. And then we can basically take those out, and they're good and they dry because we cast them out of resin. And then painting depends on how large it is. The larger ones take about an hour. The small ones take like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. That's still some work. I mean, because you're making the at least 3, right? For one of the pledges, for one of the tiers, it's 3 figurines. Oh, that's pretty cool. So, what was the response there? Do people like the idea of these figurines?
Man, people really like the figurines. It's weird to me. How many people... Sorry. Heartburn.
Yeah?
It's weird to me how many people
it's okay.
Are mentioning the figures to us directly in messages. How many people are like, hey, I'm in this country. Is it possible for me to get them sent to me, etc.? People seem to like them.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? As a physical reward, it's pretty much a no-brainer because they look so cute and they're nice and they're like hand painted. Obviously, it just works. I think with the whole look of the game and how the figurines look, I think it goes really well. And you can have see, I'm playing a fox in this, or I'm playing the fennec, and I have the fennec, figurine too. So that's I thought that was always a good idea. So it's cool that people respond to it so positively. I wish it was like a small Pangloin like figurine, because that's the biggest one. It's super expensive.
Yeah, that Pangloin figurine, it's not made yet. Otherwise, we would just have the photo up there. But that's what it will look like. I'm very excited to make a few of those. It's going to be a fun time.
Yeah, I'm sure it's actually
a fun time.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take some time too, right? So
no,
5.
The main design's already done, so all we have to do is print it and cast it.
That's going to take a while. So how many people? One backer, a few backers there to get the Pangloin. That's pretty cool. So let's go back to to the actual game. Tell me about the audio and the. I know you reached the first stretch goal, which was audio specific. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh yeah. So we were at one point contacted by a group called Fat Bard. They make music and sound design, and we had them do the sound for our trailer, which you can hear now at our Kickstarter. You can find that at vulpinegame.com/Kickstarter. And we had a really pleasant experience working with them, and we think their sound design's really good. So we made a stretch goal to be able to hire them to do all of the audio design, and we've hit the stretch goal, which is great.
And you passed $26,000, which is also cool. So with all this, what are the release plans in terms of the platform? So you said early access, Steam, December. What platforms?
It will be on Windows, it will be on Mac, and it will be on Linux. I'm not sure if Linux will be available on early access the second we launch that or not. Linux is a bit finicky, but we're going to try to have them simultaneous.
So, do you have any like builds right now, that like concurrent builds for Windows and Mac?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So no demo then? Can I have a demo? Like, can I play this game already? It's like I've been waiting for like 15 months. It's like, okay, I'm kidding. So wait, when will people be able to play it the earliest? So I know you have some tiers that allow closed beta access. When is that planned to roll out?
The closed beta will be a few months before our early access launch.
Okay, nice. So in this autumn?
Yep.
Okay, so that's pretty close, I would say. That's pretty good. So that's for anyone interested, that's at least $25. If you pledge at least $25, you'll get obviously an early access key, so you can play when it's on Steam, but also closed beta access and all the good stuff. Obviously, Vulpine. That's the main thing. But it's pretty cool because you can get you can get in early on it. You can experience it this autumn, and of course you can also give feedback and help shape the game in certain places, I guess, in balancing and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And probably
the closed beta will be really important to one, crush any bugs that arise, because there's always bound to be, and get a lot of feedback on how the core gameplay feels before we hit early access.
So when you're going to an early access, are you thinking of having all the animals available? All the animals that are planned for the full game, they're going to be in early access right from the get-go?
Yeah, right from the get-go, they should be available.
And the only thing, like, just balancing and stuff. So in terms of content, what will you add anything in terms of content from the early access or throughout the early access period, or is it just going to be kind of like a beta period?
There will be content rollouts through early access.
Okay, because again, the period is pretty small, so that's why I was thinking that maybe it's like the game is finished, we just have to just people test it out. Thank you. So in terms of the price, are you what's the plan for the EA launch? Is it going to be higher than the?
We want to be fair to anyone on our Kickstarter who backed. The price isn't determined yet, but we don't want it to be less than what people are paying on Kickstarter, because that's just backstabbing our community. It's not 100% decided though.
Okay. Okay, so but for people watching, at least $15, right? That's the minimum pledge to get a copy of Vulpine.
Yes.
Okay,
on
and
final release.
yeah, and then higher tiers if you want closed beta, and $75 if you want at least 3 minifigurines. Which, who wouldn't want the 3 minifigurines? I mean, the Fennec is adorable. I say adorable a lot, but what can I say? That's the first thing that comes to mind with a lot of Vulpine content. So let's go a little bit further out in terms of gaming. Have you had any time to play in these last few months?
Yeah,
Anything else that's not Vulpine?
Crunch time like crazy. Because that's one, not healthy, and two, not really conductive to good design. But yeah, I've been able to play a few games here and there.
What?
I will be right back. I got to take care of something.
Okay, so I'll just carry it. It's fine. Go. I'm not stalling. I'm carrying. It's fine. So everyone, that was. Remember, you can still pledge. There are like 4 hours left, and yes, I know I haven't pledged yet. I will. I just. All of stuff was last minute. It was a very busy day, and I will definitely pledge. And well, I can't do it now because everyone will see my credit card details. But you can see Vulpine. It's on Kickstarter still for 4 more hours. It reached its goal. It reached its first stretch goal for better, lovelier, more majestic music, and everything looks pretty good in terms of what's planned, and you just have to wait until December or even less than that, depending on what tier you choose, in order to actually play the game. It would have been really cool. Sorry, I just dropped my mic. It would have been really cool if there was a demo, but it's coming. It's coming. It's fine. It will arrive eventually. So. Sorry, everyone. I just dropped. See, sometimes when you're live, things happen, but that's fine. So again, Kickstarter. You can see the link in the description below if you want to pledge. And yeah, apparently I can't carry this for far too long. I can't believe it's 667. Damn it, we missed it when it was 666, the number of the beast. But that's fine. It's not a big deal. It's so. Yeah, I mean, I think you probably assume what I think. I think the game is cool. It looks really nice. It's unique. I don't really make the comparisons to other games in this case because I don't have experience so much with other titles like this. But I've liked the idea of 16 months ago when it was first on Kickstarter. I like the idea now, and it looks better and better by the day with every new update, in terms of the visuals, in terms of the effects, in terms of the environments. Obviously you can see here in terms of the content and the animals available, it's looking better and better. So just check it out on Kickstarter, and hopefully I won't be alone for soon. It happens, but yeah, it looks really cool. And again, it is going to be single player and multiplayer, so you'll be able to make your own server. You can invite your friends, so you can play with others. You can make a public server if you're brave enough and have a huge pack of 32 people that you've never heard of until 5 minutes ago. So you can see a lot of variety when it comes to the weapons. So all the good stuff. I think it has a lot of potential. We just have to see it run already. Welcome back.
Hi.
So what did you get?
We've been able to play a few games every now and then.
Okay, so what have you been doing?
Crunch.
Okay, so what have you been playing? What have you been enjoying?
Well, I can state my game of the year 2017 was.
All right, that's good.
The wonderful Nier Automata by Yoko Taro and Square Enix. What a wonderful.
Okay, good choice.
Wonderful look into existentialism.
And a fun game too.
Recently, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV, which is a MMO, on my spare time. Are
you looking forward for anything from this year?
played
not Vulpine, something else.
We played
Third
a
party.
decent amount of that good old Monster Hunter because that's one of our favorites around here.
Okay. Because you like monsters?
Oh yeah, and hunting them.
Well, okay, so then how can you make a game about a fox with a weapon? Because if a fox had a weapon, you wouldn't be able to hunt it as easily. You see what I get here? I mean, unless you have like an AR-15, but that's something else. Well, I mean, a fox with a sword against a man with an AR-15, it's not gonna stand much chance. That's, you know, as fast as smart as a fox can be.
The sword and like get confused for a little bit. You don't know.
Well, that would be confusing actually. If I would actually see in real life a fox with a sword in its mouth, I would be like, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. That definitely not. Okay, so but any game that's not released yet that are you looking forward to?
Oh boy, man.
You can say nothing. You can say.
I've been looking at the Fall 2. I've been eyeing it for a while now. It's out technically, but I have not had the time to play it.
Wait, the Fall Chapter 2, the adventure game?
The Fall Part 2, the adventure game, yes.
Yeah, I've played it. I've done a live stream like last week or something.
I love the first one to death, and I've been looking at the second one. I have not had time to play it.
Well, I haven't played the first one, but it's I played obviously the second one. It's an interesting mix of genres, that's for sure, and I think it's refreshing, especially for people who, well, especially for me, because I played a lot of point-and-click adventure games, and this one is quite not the same as other adventure games. So it's been really nice, and you know, the story and everything, it's quite deep. I think I really liked it. I wish I had more time to play.
It reminds me of Blade Runner. It's very good.
Oh, if you're like into Blade Runner, there was another game that's but it's not coming out this year, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. The Last Light? No, it's not
coming out this year.
No, I mean, well, obviously no one gives a crap about Anthem in 2019. I mean, that's gonna be like, what? Anthem who? Nobody's going. No, I'm just saying that's like for this year.
I hope that's good.
Yeah, Anthem.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't think.
We don't talk about that.
No. Well, no, it's not. It's nothing bad. I'm just thinking that like anyone would want the game to be good if they're excited about it. You know, like I mean, I'm sure that you would see some negative people. It's like, why would you want the game to be bad? Obviously, yeah. I hope Anthem is going to be good, and you know, maybe I'll play it, and you know, hopefully it's going to be nice. I mean, I don't know. It's BioWare. You know, it's the one studio that has almost never failed. So. It's like the Blizzard from.
I just got a Discord blip. I'd like to clarify that our music is being done by the wonderful Aviators, also known as Tyler Shaw, and he's been working with us since the first Kickstarter.
Okay, and okay, that was the like you have to say this. It's like in the contract.
I need to mention Aviators because he's been with us since the beginning.
So for. So what's the plan there? Are you gonna have like different music themes for each biome, or is it going to be more like a theme for outside of combat and one for in combat?
Each biome has its own theme. He's making nice, like really chill, like background music so that you don't focus on it constantly. Once you get into battle, the battle music will kick in.
Okay. Yeah, because well, especially the Kickstarter video, has this very like uplifting, you know, feeling like you're meant to do something, Fox. You're bound for greatness, you know. And it's like, okay, this is just the beginning. It has that, you know, that ramp effect, I think. So yeah, I definitely can't wait to hear the music in the actual combat. You know, like
yeah.
That should be. Hopefully, it's going to be intense, because the battle should be intense. Actually, since I mentioned battles, do you have like any, I don't know, let's say target in terms of how long a battle should be?
We don't want it to be like too long. We don't want 45 minutes.
Right.
It just really depends on how long is a fight fun for. So it'll be a thing that we're constantly trying to tweak. Because when something stops being fun, that's when we need to change it.
So how much freedom do you have in terms of influencing the battle? And when I say this, I'm thinking, right, it's an open world, right? And you see the boss, and it sees you, it attacks, you start the battle. Do you have, a way of maybe retreating and it comes after you? Or is the battlefield the whole area, or is it going to be closed off somehow when you enter battle?
We're considering closing off an area. It just really depends on how that feels, and like we want you to be able to run away if you really don't want to be there. So it's a thing we're still testing right now. But some monsters aren't even necessarily aggressive, so they wouldn't chase you if you did run away. But some of them might continue to chase you if we don't close off the area.
Okay. That's
it's
interesting.
It's just a matter of making those fights balanced. We're not sure if we want to enclose you in an arena or not.
Well, I mean, you could see the argument for both, right?
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
arena, more. But yeah, that would be hard, because then if it's open, then there are other animals around, maybe other types of enemies, and maybe you don't want them in the boss fight. So yeah, that's an interesting thing, and I guess that's something to determine with the closed tests, with a closed beta test and all, before early access. Okay, well, anything else that you wanted to talk about? Like just Vulpine or life in general?
Making games is fun. Making games is hard. Thank you for letting me come here and talk to you. And thank you to everyone for backing Vulpine.
And any comments about the support of the furry community to Vulpine?
Oh yeah, they're great. Yeah, they've been nothing but supportive.
Really? Like, have you actually got like messages from furries saying that this game is great? Really?
Oh, constantly, like every day.
Okay, so when can we expect furry costumes inspired by Vulpine at conventions around the world, the United States, but also the world? Next year, maybe?
Oh my god! Like, imagine trying to build like a rigid structure like that. Sorry.
Oh, come on, you can make it with cardboard, I think. You can make it with the cardboard, I think, somewhat, right?
Really
to some
hard.
extent. Yeah,
Really
yeah,
difficult.
but
Wow.
yeah, but dedication. I mean, if you're a furry, you have to be dedicated to the, I mean, you can't just. Then again, they're not very furry.
Anyway.
It's okay. You're gonna find a solution. Well, thanks for being here, everyone. Again, this was Vulpine. You can still pledge 4 hours to go. At least $15 will get you a copy of the game when it's released. If you go higher, you'll also have early access to it. You can influence the game a little bit. If you get from 75 higher, you also get some adorable looking, lovely handcrafted figurines. And if you go really high, you get the best thing ever, which is the Pangolin, right? Yeah, Pangolin figurine, which I don't know. I really want to see that live. I want to see that live because it looks great in the images, but it's like, can you really get that amazing, incredible color of its lovely body? Hopefully that's going to be the case. So everyone, that's Vulpine. Any closing thoughts? Well, people can find you, all that.
You can find us at www.vulpinegame.com.
All links in the description. Kickstarter link in the description. On Twitter? No,
What?
no Twitter. You have a Twitter. Twitter.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
are at Clockwork Giant on Twitter.
Okay. So no at Vulpine Game later on.
Maybe later on, but right now, just our game studio is at Clockwork Giant
Mhm.
Games. Wait, at Clockwork.
Okay, you also have.
It's not the games.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, I've seen another studio that has a very similar name, and I was like,
another studio with a very similar name, and it's kind of funny.
yeah, that is kind of funny. I was like, wait, that's not what's going on here. That's weird. So, everyone, Vulpine, check it out on Kickstarter. It's still got a few hours, and in terms of how you feel about Kickstarter, that may vary, and that may be very justified, because there were some really, really bad failures. But Clockwork Giant has been working on this for 2 years now, and they're not giving up. They're not giving in. They've made a second Kickstarter. It's successful. So I think the game is in good hands, and I'm fairly confident that it's gonna be released, and I really hope it's gonna be good, because, well, I say hope because I haven't played it yet. I can't wait to play it. So everyone, thanks so much for watching. I haven't played what I really want to play it. I'm not saying that I'm using my YouTuber powers to get exclusive stuff. I'm just saying, just when you have a playable build, just tell a person.
If you wanted a copy, you should have just asked us.
Well, I'm gonna back anyway, so that's one thing. But I mean exclusive stuff, like never before seen, so I can make exclusive stuff, like exclusive video, and get. Well, yeah, obviously, where I can find the humans and stuff. No, I mean, I'm gonna be like, oh, I found the Yeti in Vulpine. I mean, that video is gonna get hits. So that's what I'm about. All about the hits. You can see that by all the videos that have very few views on my channel, because I'm about the games that get hits, Overwatch and stuff. Sorry, I'm kidding. I really don't have any Overwatch videos on my channel, which is amazing, isn't it? It's just a popular game. So everyone, thanks for watching. Thank Josiah for being here. Wake up Isaac after this, please. And if he wants to add anything, sure, let's talk. I mean,
all right,
we can do an interview. I don't know why you want to do this divide, because I kind of see it as a package deal, but that's fine. Okay,
he's not well right now. He was sick mid Kickstarter, and he's still kind of coughing a lot. It's not great.
Well, what? Tell him, from me that I think you've done a great job in these last few months with all the updates. I think it looks better and better. So just well, good health, I guess, and we'll see the final result almost final result in December. So everyone, Vulpine Kickstarter, link in the description below. Follow Clockwork Giant Games on Twitter. See their Discord. They also have a Discord, and you can go there to chat with them, and they are very eager to answer. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's. It's like, yeah, yes, we're definitely gonna answer. Okay, and for me, what can I say? Just like this live stream, this developer interview if you liked it. If you want to support me, just subscribe, tell other people about the channel, force people to subscribe. Anyone who's interested in PC gaming in general can find something on my channel. So just spread the word. Use the affiliate links in the description below. Amazon, Humble Store. If you buy anything from there, all of that helps. And until the next time we see each other, have an awesome day.
Goodbye.
Everything is awesome.